Hi boys and girls, I am here in my classroom and I made a new lesson for you. So my kinder class is going to make this adorable rainbow lion picture. So it's a collage, it's painting, it's a lot of fun. So let's get started. So you are going to get a texture plate with some leaves. We want our lion to look like he's in the jungle, right? Stick that underneath your paper. Take your naked crayon, it has no paper on it, and I want you to lay it down. It's sleepy, right? So we're going to rub back and forth with it on its side. Let your crayon rest. Do not pick it up like you're going to write with it. Rub it back and forth, and you have to move the texture plate around so that you get the texture all over the paper because it's smaller than your paper. Cover the whole paper all the way to the edge. So I'm pressing down, I'm squeezing really tight between my fingers so it doesn't roll around. Now we are going to paint little black dots on our picture. So we're going to have a round stamp, we're going to dip it in the paint. Do not let your dots touch. So I want to make sure just a little bit's on there, all over the side, being nice and careful, and I'm carefully stamping it down, lifting it up. Very carefully. I want to leave a really nice space between each dot. So about the size of my dot, I'm going to come down and I'm going to have nice neat circles stamped all over my picture. Do not let your dots touch. Now I'm going to go here because it's kind of like a zigzag, right? Okay, now we are going to let that dry. Okay. So the next step is to take a coffee filter. Y'all know I love my coffee. Just kidding, we're not making coffee. We are gonna make art. So you're gonna take your coffee filter and find a bunch of beautiful colors of the rainbow. So all these bright, pretty colors. You do not have to use this many, but you can use as many as you like. Do not use black, brown, or gray. Let's stick with the bright colors of the rainbow. I want you to create a colorful pattern coloring all the way around. So the first thing we need to do is flatten out our coffee filter so that we can color it nice and pretty, and make sure you stay working on top of a piece of paper because it will bleed through. Okay, so whatever color you want to start with, I will start with, let's start with this beautiful royal purple. I'm going to put a little dot in the middle of my filter, and I'm going to draw a line going out. And I want to color a very skinny little triangle. So I drew a little V, and I'm going to color back and forth until it's all colored in. And now I think I will go with this pretty flamingo pink. And I'm going to make it look like a V again, right on top of the, next to that purple. And I'm going to color it in. Keep doing this with all your colors all the way around. Now that my coffee filter is all colored in, I'm going to spritz it with water. Let's see what happens. Sometimes art is like a science experiment. Oh goodness, what's gonna happen? All right, now you can see some of my colors are kind of bleeding out together. This is gonna give it a really cool effect. Okay, we are ready to draw our lion. So I want you to draw your head up here. Make sure you leave room for the ears, but it needs to be at the top of your paper so you can draw your lion as big as possible. But we need to make sure our lion's head is the right size. So take your hand and put it at the top of your paper. My hand is probably going to be bigger than a kindergartner's hand. So put it at the top of your paper, and you need to make sure your head is as big as your hand. So I'm going to draw just a little light line here and here to make sure my head is as big as my hand. I'm going to pretend my hand's the same size as yours. So I'm going to draw a big U. Can your hand fit there? If so, you're good to go. So a big U shape that your hand can fit inside. If it's smaller than your hand, it's too small. If it's way, way bigger, it's too big. Now I'm going to draw some ears. So we have a nice big U. I need some ears, so 2 semicircles, about the same size, the top of the head, and then I want to draw the nose at the bottom of the face, but leaving room for the mouth. So way down here, I'm going to draw a triangle shape. I like to make mine a little bit rounded. And then I'm going to draw a little line down here for the middle of the mouth, and I'm going to curve it all the way up to the nose. Make it the same size on each side as best as possible. And then here we're going to connect a line on each side of the nose going up to the top of the head. So it looks like a little triangle. And now we need some eyes. What kind of eyes do you want your lion to have? I'm going to draw some sweet, close, maybe some sleepy eyes here. Maybe it's daydreaming. I don't know. Maybe add some eyelashes. You decide how you want your lion's eyes to look. And then the inside of the ears. We got a little closed kind of upside down U. And now it's time for the body. So at the bottom sides of the head, you're going to draw a little bit of a curved line going almost all the way down to the bottom of the paper. Almost all the way down to the bottom of the paper, leaving some space for the paws. Now I'm going to draw 2 ovals. And we need to turn these into the front legs. So I'm going to draw a line coming up and stop about halfway. Make sure your next leg is the same height and the same width. And then a little line down here, little line here, and then these are his paws. So let's make it put a little V here to make it look like little toes or little paws there. And we need some back legs. So I'm going to draw on both sides. It's kind of like the letter C. Comes over and out, but it goes way down here like that. Tapers off. Do the same thing, but the other direction. You want it to go out like this, almost like, or half of a heart maybe. And then you need his paws and his little toes. Here's his other paws and his little toes. And what are we missing? The tail! You can draw the tail on either side. It doesn't matter. It's going to be coming from here. And I'm just going to do a curved line or like just barely a little wavy line. Please don't make a bunch of wavy lines. And then we need to draw the other side of the tail coming up. And then it has like this little tuft of hair here. And maybe some little lines there for the hair. And we are not going to draw the mane because we did that with the coffee filter. And there is our lion. Now you need to outline. We will do the whiskers later. Outline with Sharpie, and then we get to color it. When you do the nose, we're going to leave a little mark for the shine mark there, and I'm going to color it in with my Sharpie. Very nice and carefully. And now let's speed this up so we can get the Sharpie done. Erase your extra pencil lines. And now we are ready to color, but we are going to color with this cool little texture mat that I have. It's actually a placemat, and it's got these cool little weavings in it. This is going to give our lion some texture and a unique look. So you are going to choose from some really light kind of tannish colors. I want you to choose 2 colors, a lighter one and a darker one. So I have apricot, peach, I have tan, tumbleweed, and raw sienna. I want you to pick two colors that are kind of opposite of each other, and we are going to use this to color. So I'm going to go with peach, and I'm going to go with raw sienna. Let's see how this turns out. So I want you to color most of your lion with one of them. So I'm going to color everywhere on all the main parts of my lion with my peach. You choose which color you go with, and I'm just coloring normal. I'm not making my crayon lazy for the texture of this time, but you need to color really, really good and stay in the lines inside the face. If you get out of the lines outside of here, that's okay, because we're going to cut out the lion. So I'm going to color the head and the body, but I'm going to color these little areas with the darker color. So color, color, color. Okay, so I saved some little areas, some of the smaller details for my darker color. You choose if you want it darker or lighter. Now I need to stay in the lines for this one. Being very careful and making sure I color it all the way through. I don't want it to look scribbly. So that is not finished. If your coloring looks like that, you need to go back over it, very careful, and color one little section at a time. So it looks nice and finished. Staying in the lines, I'm going up and down, one section at a time. There we go. My line's all colored in. Now we need to cut out the lion, and then we're going to glue the colorful mane and our lion down to our paper. I cut out my lion, but I need my mane to go all the way around, so I need to carefully cut off his head. Oh no! That's okay. We will put him all back together again. So I'm going to turn my paper so that it's the right way, and I'm going to glue my colorful mane or coffee filter down towards the top of my paper. Leave a little bit of space at the top. Do not glue it all the way up here. So I need to cover the whole back of it, very careful, holding it in place so we don't rip the coffee filter. So I glued my coffee filter down. My head can go in the middle somewhere. And then the body needs to go underneath the very edge of the coffee filter, and your tail is on top. Make sure that when you glue your coffee filter down, you don't completely glue the edges down yet, so that you can slide the body right there underneath. And then we need to figure out how you want your head. It could be straight, maybe it's slanted a little bit. I think that looks adorable. So I'm going to glue it down. Make sure everything is down really well. And there he is. Okay, so now we need to paint some little whiskers, and we're going to paint some grass on our picture. So I'm going to use a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to dip it in to my black, and we're going to stamp little whiskers. So printmaking, 3 little whiskers. 1, 2, 3. Do not drag it up and down. You have to be very careful because you can't erase it. 1, 2, 3. And now we are ready for the grass. So I'm going to turn my paper so you can see it. And you can make them different heights. You want to go all the way to the bottom of your paper. So my grass is touching the very edge of my paper. And I'm going to stamp a bunch of grass. I am not dragging it. I'm stamping a bunch. Make some taller. It can overlap. So I'm going to have a few taller because I might want to paint some flowers in a little bit. And I'm working on a messy mat so that I can make some of them shorter and not paint all over the table. They can lean a little bit to the side, but do not make them completely sideways. Okay, so looking closely, be careful not to stick your finger in it. I have a few taller ones, but they don't go past halfway of the lion, and I have a lot at the bottom to fill in my spaces. Now we are ready to print some pretty bright flowers, just a few, on our picture. So I'm going to take one of my flower stamps, dip it in, make sure it's all covered, and I'm going to stamp a few flowers. And now I can take my finger, let's see how that looks. Take my little finger and dip it in a color, and I'm going to print a little dot inside of some of my flowers. So I'm going to do a little yellow dot. This works better when your paint's dry, but I'm going to go ahead and do this and show you the step in my video. We might wait for it to dry for you guys though. And there it is. Look how cute my rainbow lion is. He looks so happy in his field of flowers. If you like this video, please subscribe.